Get all of your spooky figures at BigBadToyStore, the link in the description. There.
Horror, kaiju, Dragon Ball, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, collectors, it's going to be Steven here, and boy, I bet you probably unsubscribed because of that, but that's alright, because today we're going to be taking a look at the figure that all of NECA horror fans have pretty much been waiting for. It is time for the one, the only, Bela Lugosi's Dracula in the Ultimate Universal Monsters lineup from NECA. The time is finally here, and have you ever known that straight A student who's submitted low B quality work and you're like, what happened? As someone who's pretty much been around the block with a lot of NECA's horror ultimate offerings, and even when they were doing this series of the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street stuff, I kind of got the feeling of that here. Sacrilegious, I know, maybe that's the theme with Dracula, but despite the fact that NECA is one of the undisputed kings in the horror merchandise realm, I think we got a little bit to talk about. Dracula is good, but let's take a look to see whether or not he's going to be worth adding into your collection. Alright, so looks department. Yeah, I mean, again, A student, this is the work that we would expect here. So Dracula looks great. Likeness for Lugosi, I mean, you can go ahead and you can argue in the comments. They did the dot matrix face printing technology thingamajig, and it came out to be very nice. When you look at it up close and personal with the macro photography, you can definitely see that, you know, maybe the ink was a little bit too much on mine in some spots, but nevertheless, they actually did put forth some rather solid detailing here. We do actually have some, I guess you may call them pinstripes on the pants. You can actually tell that there's a different, what would be effectively different fabric running down the sides of the pant leg there, and there's actually different paint applications to recreate that, which is really cool to see. The shoes, they're nice and shiny. I mean, realistically speaking, the only thing that I'm doing here is sort of padding out this section, barring any quality control issues that someone may have with their particular unit. I mean, Dracula looks great, and this is what NECA is known for in the horror action figure department. Basically, they can't be topped, and if they do slip up, it is a shocker. Pause. Dracula looks very good. All right, for real, I'm done. Articulation. Dracula's articulation is a bit different. Sort of, not really. Pretty much the standard for NECA figures these days, but I do think that with a little bit of changes, we could have had something just a bit better. So what do we have? Well, the head, the neck system, let's go ahead and actually just go ahead and pop this off so you can see, even though you're going to see it in the accessory section. So the head plugs in on a ball joint, and we are going to get alternate head sculpts that all come with the same neck joint. So they're all going to seat in here in the body on a ball joint. So we're going to have effectively two ball joints. So this way Dracula can look up about that far, down about that far, rock from side to side, and spin all the way around if that's something that you need. That's all well and cool. For the shoulders, they are on swivels and hinges. So they peg into the body so they spin all the way around, and Dracula can T-pose like so. Alright, good. As you can see, there's no cut for a bicep swivel. However, we do have single hinge elbows. And he's going to get that much range of movement. Therein is where a swivel is at, because the elbow hinges peg in, right? Then the wrists, all of them for the alternate hand parts, they peg in and they swivel around, and then they have hinges that allow you to move the hands in and out. These are going to be the default hands, not the creepy Bela Lugosi hands where he, you know, does the sort of bent wrist. But here's where the articulation could have been better. NECA is moving towards single hinges again instead of double hinges. Why, I don't know. If you actually integrate them into the sculpt, I mean, they can look fine. But anyway, when NECA does the double hinge for the elbows, like let's say on the New Blood Jason, that allows for a forearm swivel, and that would have allowed for just a little bit better movement along with the hinge. So yes, we can get the swivel here, but we could have gotten a hinge and then a swivel point here. So this way, what is this? The sleeve? The collar here, this portion could be a bit better in terms of movement and positioning, so this way he could bend his wrists. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, continuing on. For the body, I don't know if NECA may be intending to hide a joint, kind of like they did for the Ultimate Ash vs. Evil Dead Ash in here somewhere, but we do effectively have a ball-jointed waist, so this way we can move Dracula around, all fine and dandy. We can even spin him all the way around if we want, which is cool. Ooh, look at that dumpy. Okay. For the hips, ball-jointed hips. So Dracula can kick out about that far forward and back, and he can do the splits like so. We do have dedicated thigh swivels, where the ball joints plug in at the hips. Single hinge knees, where we do have swivels as well. And then for the ankles, we do have hinges for forward and back movement, and then just a little bit of ankle rocker movement because of the pants where they come on down. They do block the articulation just a bit. So the articulation is not bad by any means, but this is just going to be another example of NECA sort of not putting forth 100% effort into the engineering. I mean, yes, this is good. Do not get me wrong, but whenever I think of NECA articulation, I always think of the New Blood Jason and how well that was engineered. You're probably thinking, Steven, what about the cape? Let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay. So, Dracula does come with quite a few accessories, and I think this is actually going to be a good, strong suit for him. He's going to come with the aforementioned cape. He's going to come with a total of 3 different heads, a bat with support stand, wine bottle, 2 goblets, and a serving plate. He's going to come with the candle and stick, and a total of 3 alternate hand parts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the alternate head parts. So, fresh out of the box, he's going to come with a smiling face, which is cool. Then he's going to come with a stern face and then a typical blah head. No fangs on the OG Dracula. Let's go ahead and fight that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the goblets and the wine bottle and the serving dish and the candle and the stick and all that fun stuff. And we're going to talk about the hands, just kind of blend that in as well. So for Dracula here, okay, so the wine bottle and the goblets, those look fine. Vampires drink red wine. Symbolism for blood. We do get an alternate right hand part, which is meant for Dracula to hold the candlestick. But we don't get another alternate hand part, so this way he can effectively hold the wine bottle. As you'll see, he can hold the goblets fine in a, a fancy vampire way. Yeah. Also, can't really hold the plate, well, except for, hand underneath, kind of like server style, which isn't fitting of Dracula. Now, for the bat. This is cool. As you can see, the stand is very tall, almost as tall as Dracula himself. The bat is actually really finely detailed, which is great to see. And the stand in and of itself is actually articulated. The bat is going to be on a ball joint, so it kind of pivots around in a whole bunch of different directions. So that is cool to see. All right, the cape, it's not wired. And the way that they decided to do it is really weird, because if you just take a look at it from pictures, you think that it just kind of snaps around his collar. Not really true. If you're taking a look at the inside of the collar of the cape, there's going to be a little tab, and that's going to sit in between his tuxedo suit jacket and his button-up shirt. I guess that's what you may call it. There's going to be a little gap, and that's where it goes in. You're going to pop Dracula's head off before you do that, and then you're going to pop it on. Yeah. Be warned as well. Apparently, this is staining plastic. Yeah, very disappointing. I mean, aside from that, it's pretty solid quality. Action shots, here you go. All right, so as I crack my fingers, very professional, Steven. I'm just going to keep that in the recording just because, low effort like the cape. All right, here's what I have to say. I do think that the accessories here are fitting. We do have an ultimate black and white Dracula that has just recently been solicited as well. And that one, well, this one is technically called the Transylvania one, and the black and white one is the Carfax Abbey one. So that one's going to come with the top hat and the cane, I believe, and some other hand parts. So we have split up accessories. This one is notably missing a coffin, which is going to come in the accessory set, which is also going to come with the armadillo, the opossum, the spider, and the bee. Or is it coming with a bee? It's not. But if you are looking for other accessories, there are others available on the market, including a much neater option for a casket, a coffin from Super Action Stuff. The Casket of Cruelty. It's pretty cool. That's what I'm using here. So, yeah, accessories, they're fine. Not a whole big detriment. Neat. So, yeah. Now to kind of round out this section, should the cape have red on the inside? My vote, honestly, whatever. It is what it is. If you color the original movie, however, yes, apparently it should. A lot of the pictures from the source material colorizing it do make it look apparently that like it should have red. But from this one, sourcing from the moviepropcollectors.com, which apparently shows the original Lugosi 1931 Dracula cape, it should not have red, but sort of a grayish color to it. Maybe that's just a very faded red from time. Maybe the pigment left. I don't know. But I'll leave that up for you to decide. Should it have red? Comment down below. All right, size comparison. Here is going to be Dracula alongside his invisible counterpart friend from the Universal Monsters lineup that just released at the same time. I'm doing this so this way when I do his review, which will be up soon, I am going to cut back the effort I have to put forward. Buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Look, Dracula is great. Honestly, the likeness is very good. I think so. I think that the sculpt and the paint is just fine with no real issues. Everything is cool there. The accessories, admittedly, they're pretty weak considering that the cape, vampire cape, come on, you gotta nail that. The accessory set, which I will be reviewing soon, is a good addition to this, but the articulation just kind of holds this back a bit, and I don't know. I was expecting a bit more out of Dracula. If you like what you see, by all means, go ahead and make the purchase. I was expecting just a bit more, and I was a bit disappointed. So I am not saying by any means that this is bad. Remember, the American education system kind of has you twisted a bit. A B is still good. I was just expecting better. This is fine. It still shows you why NECA dominates, but it's not as good as it can be. Just remember that.
Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.